ballot papers.
But later say you are they are printing ballot papers. For
Dr. Tango Computer is Everyday Director Elections and IT National Democratic Congress. Good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I am well, and I hope you are too.
I'm good.
Great. First of all, now going back to the letter, or give us an account of exactly what the issue is here. The letter that was sent to you by the Electoral Commission, and what we are seeing in terms of a statement this morning. Exactly what happened?
Very well. They wrote a letter to us the day before yesterday, inviting our agents to come for a briefing. In fact, that orientation on the printing of a notice of poll and ballot papers. So when we receive this letter, we say, how can the Electoral Commission talk of printing of ballot papers at this time when you don't even have a register? We are still battling with your provisional register, and they say you are printing a ballot papers. That cannot be the case. But in any case, fine. Let's see what happened. So yesterday, we went to the Electoral Commission to see, because actually they said they needed a party agent. But it has never happened. This is not the way we do things. We realized that was an awkward process the Electoral Commission was trying to engage. So we went. I went with my colleague, Madi, to represent the NDC. We didn't send our party agents. We wanted to engage them. So when we went, we realized that they had brought plenty of party agents, our opponents and the other parties brought their party agents. So virtually we came there, and then their Deputy Director of Electoral Services, Mr. Kisi, came to brief us. Then when he started, they will realize that he was talking of the print houses that are going to do the printing, and that they were going to commence the printing of the notice of poll and ballot papers. That was his statement. And then they were looking at the protocols they were going to use and all that. So when he finished, we intervened and told him point blank that, look, my brother, on what basis are you printing ballot papers? You cannot print ballot papers. You cannot even start talking about ballot papers. You don't print ballot papers. You print ballot papers based on figures. Where are your figures? You don't have it. We are even battling with you over provisional register. You have not even given us a provisional register. And you are thinking of printing ballot papers. Is that how you go about your thing? In any case, this meeting is not proper. Because this meeting, you should have called leadership of the parties to come on a round table to discuss this modality, not party agents. Party agents cannot take decisions on behalf of us. We deploy them, not they come by themselves. So by writing a letter, even inviting party agents was wrong. And interestingly enough, our opponents, the main opponent, or MPP, seconded our move and said, yes, we're right in that position. Because when it comes to the issue of notice of poll, we have to sign off on it. Signing off on it means we have to look at the name of your candidate, the picture of the candidate, the symbol of the candidate, everything. Then you sign your signature, attach it on one document. All the other political parties will also sign off. Then that one document will be given to all the print houses so that they will all be printing one. Not you ask that our agents should rather go to the printing house to authenticate these things. It has never happened. So we told him. And so this meeting you called was not proper. And therefore go and tell your people, since you don't have the locus to take decision on this, let them understand that we are saying that they cannot proceed with the printing of ballot papers without the ballot statistics and we haven't the register itself. We told him, and we told him that they needed to call us back for a meeting today so that we, the leaders, can take decision on the notice of poll, sign off it before they can proceed on that. But to bring party agents is needless. That is not their job, and they cannot take decision on behalf of the party. So that's how we ended the meeting and left them. Midnight, around 11 to 12, they sent us a message that they are inviting us for meeting this morning, we leadership of the party, to come and sign off on the notice of poll. Only for me to see this morning, they issue another statement saying that they didn't say they are printing ballot papers. They are rather commencing the printing of notice of poll. You see the double standard of these people. Have they forgotten that they've written a letter signed by the same Tete saying that they were going to do printing of notice of poll and ballot papers? So if the NDC hadn't confronted them and took them on that matter, they would have gone ahead with this their court process of doing things. I mean, we're grateful to NDC for trying to protect our democracy. Otherwise, these people, you leave them to go and sleep, they will throw this country into uncontrollable anarchy. Imagine they were going to proceed with that. What would have been the impact on our election for December 7th? So this is the situation we have found ourselves.
I see. So, as at this, so the last, when you had the meeting, you said the conclusion was what? They were supposed to get back to you today?
Yes, yesterday evening, and they got back to us. So as we speak now, this morning we are having a meeting with them at 9, leadership of the political party, at 9 at their office.
At
because
9
yesterday's meeting was not a properly organized meeting. Because the letter they wrote was inviting party agents. And party agents cannot take decision on behalf of parties. That is not their decision. Major decision like that, signing off on notice of poll, is done by leadership or principals of parties, not party agent. So they got it all wrong yesterday. So I'm not surprised they invited us to come this morning to now look at the notice of poll, sign off it, and then a decision would now be taken as to the next step for the statistics that we talked of, and then the register itself.
But does the statement that the issue essentially clarifies and change things for you?
It clarified based on our position. If we hadn't pushed them, they wouldn't have issued this statement. Because if you go and look at their letter is different from their statement.
But do you have any issue with notice of poll being printed at this time?
No, we have no issue. That one we made it very clear yesterday to them. That look, the issue of notice of poll is within. We are all for it. We are not against it. But the only thing we wanted them to do was to bring sample of it so that we would sign off on it. So when I sign on behalf of my party, I know that look, this is the picture of my candidate. This is his name. This is the symbol of NDC. I've signed off. So every printing house, all the 8 printing houses, none of them will depart from what I've signed off. That is what we call leadership to come and sign off. And that is what we are going to do this morning at the Electoral Commission. They wanted the parties to, the party agents to rather do that at the printing houses. Can you imagine?
Oh, okay. And that is not the usual practice. It's the leadership that signs. Okay.
No, that is not. That is not. Completely out of order. It was completely out of order, and we stopped them.
Well, but you're going back to that meeting today. The meeting has not been cancelled.
It's 9 o'clock.
Okay. Does the statement in any way change the agenda, or the agenda will still be the same thing you agreed yesterday?
Their statement, I'm saying that, is based on our intervention yesterday. And then instead of them to be magnanimous in thanking the NDC for bringing them online, they rather issued a statement to look like some people are saying that they are going to print ballot papers, and they are not doing that. They are doing. Have they forgotten that they wrote a letter the day before yesterday, and the title of the letter is printing of notice of poll and ballot papers? I don't know what kind of quality assurance that goes on in their offices there. Or they think Ghanaians, we are just so daft that when they write things we can't read, or who make meaning of what they are writing.
Well, in the meantime, when are you getting that register, the updated register?
Well, they said they are giving us 2 weeks, so their 2 weeks will end on Tuesday. So from now up to Tuesday, well, we'll be expecting it from them. You remember they issued a statement again. When we said, they said they will give us a register within 1 week. They came out and said they didn't say 1 week. They said 2 weeks or earlier. Well, their 2 weeks will end on Tuesday. So we are waiting to see.
Okay. So you are waiting on them to deliver on Tuesday?
On their promise, which they say 2 weeks, which ends on Tuesday. Tuesday will be the exactly 2 weeks. But she indicated 2 weeks or earlier. So if it's or earlier, today is earlier, they can give it to us. Or they can give it to us tomorrow or Sunday. But it's not these people. With their crooked nature of doing things, we will hold them to their own statement.
What are they promising to deliver on Tuesday? Is it the same updated register or a final register?
No, this one is provisional. The revised provisional register.
The revised provisional register.
Yes. And that's what we're telling them. You even, how do you want to print ballot papers based on provisional register? Does it even make sense to you? You don't have a certified register. You know, per the CI, ordinance amended by 126. After a provisional register goes through the processes of exhibition and all that, and corrections, we have another process known as certified register process, the process of certifying the register. That is what mostly you call the final register. The CIC is certified register, and not the provisional register to conduct it.
I see. But having said that, I realize that the issue you are complaining about was by someone who's been working at the electoral committee. The first letter was written by him. The second statement that was issued, the statement that was issued to clarify, was written by him. So this certainly cannot be a person that's making a mistake.
Well, that's why I'm saying that it appears they themselves, they don't understand what they are doing. Or you remember, I normally use a term for them that they are deliberately incompetent.
Deliberately incompetent.
Deliberately incompetent. You are getting it, because you wrote a letter to the political party indicating what you intend doing and inviting their agents to come and monitor that and give them orientation on it. Then when there is fire on you, you quickly came out, issue another statement, now bastardizing your own letter. How do you describe such a person?
In the past, you've raised issues with the chosen printers. I'm sure you've seen the printing houses that they've selected this time around.
Yes.
All good with you?
Yes, well, we've looked at it. The eight printing houses. Well, with all the difficulties we went through, it's within their mandate. They go through their procurement. I remember, I'm very much aware of Election Watch Group. They have filed RTI to find out the procedure used in selecting those 8 printing houses. It is not within the mandate of the political parties to decide who they should select as their printing houses. That is their administrative work. But they also have to go through the processes, the procurement processes of which the election watch people are following them up to get information on that. Ours is to make sure that those printing houses don't misbehave. That is why we are looking for the statistics. If the statistics are ready and we have the statistics, of course, we want them to give it to us. That's why we told them, you can't give statistics to our agents. They are not leaders of the party. You have to give the statistics to us first. We will study, because I don't trust the mathematics of Electoral Commission. Arithmetic is a problem for them. So with their statistics, we don't trust unless we go through it ourselves. And anytime they come out with their statistics, it always end up having problems with it. And so we want to study it ourselves, make sure that they get it right, and then they can proceed. So with this, if we get it right, then we can hold the printing houses so that nobody print outside the statistics. Unlike what happened in 2020, where they just get up to start printing by heart and misbehaving anyhow. This time, it won't happen. We pointed out.
Hello, Doc.
Great.
Hello, Doc.
Yeah, my brother.
We lost you there in a minute. You said you pointed something out.
We pointed it out to them that this time round, we won't allow any printing house to print outside the statistics to be given to us. And that is why we are following the issue over it. We want to get hold of the statistics. The printing house will be given copy, will have copy. And we will know the quantities that they are going to print and the regions, constituencies that they are going to print. And that's why we have trained our agents, our printing agents. And we trained them last Saturday. Sure, I'm confident with the people we are putting out there. Apart from that, we have supervisors who are going to be supervising our printing agents. And so we are very much interested in everything that is going to happen this year in terms of the printing of the ballot. And I can assure you, and we told them that this year we are not going to countenance any move by any printing house that will print outside the required quantities that they are allowed to print. They will have to contain us. If they try that path, we will accept it.
Doc, thank you very much for speaking to us.
I'm grateful.
Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer is Deputy Director Elections and IT of the National Democratic Congress, joining us on the line. An account of what happened when they met the EC yesterday, and he said it's as a result of the meeting they had and the objections they raised that led the Electoral Commission to issue that statement. The Electoral Commission, however, in fact, if we read the statement, the tone of the statement, it suggests that there's someone who is getting them wrong. It is they are not the one who is making the error, but it is the political parties who are misunderstanding their statement. They issued that statement yesterday after the NDC raised the issues with the fact that they indicated to them that they are going to print ballot papers. Now, this is the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission has taken note of some statements in the public domain to the effect that the Commission has not provided ballot statistics ahead of the printing of ballot papers for the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. We would like to assure the general public that the printing of ballot papers has not commenced. Printing of notices of poll for the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections, however, begins on Friday, 11th October 2024. And then they go ahead to say other things in that statement. Let's go over the phone lines and speak to Professor Nino Ndowuna, who is a young senior citizen. Says he has a quick contribution to make. Prof, good morning, and I hope you are well.
Good morning. Yeah, I wish to express a little opinion on the matter.
Okay.
And if I say I'm a young senior, I'm speaking as someone who has been actively or spent greater part of my youthful working life in the politics or administration of a party, and for that matter, engage in elections and being an active member of IPAC. You must, if you really reason out properly, anybody who is concerned about the future of this country, especially the credibility of the forthcoming election, must be worried about these petty administrative lapses. Just read the letter signed by the director, and then just 24 hours, another 10, complete about 10. It's, I don't know. This election is the 9th election. 92 up to now, 32 years. Are we reinventing the process? That is what amazes me. People like Dr. Farijan and others, and I believe there are people who have been through 3-4 elections at the Electoral Commission. If you take over an administration, there are files that will guide you, because you are running, for this matter, a state institution. And if you are running a state institution, rules and procedures are there. Why do you commit such blunders at this time when there had been a heated exchanges leading to an amicable resolution of the matter just last week? You understand? And I feel sorry when watching the proceedings last week, when other parties were like minnows trying to toe the line as if they have been bribed, with due allegedly bribed, to speak the voice of one party. For this, let's put it on record that the position taken by the two major parties is much commendable. Please, we normally file all over until this particular election. We file for nomination in October, 6 weeks to the election. Now, if we push the process forward so that we will have sufficient time to prepare for the 7th December election, that is fine. But if you know you wrote a letter plain that you are inviting party agents, if you don't have the experience, please, Electoral Commission, confer. The parties are the major stakeholders. Confer with them and let's have confidence in the process. You understand? It's not a small matter that we are toying with. It's about power, and it has repercussions on stability of this country. And I believe this must be the last blunder. We are humans though, but this must be the last blunder by the Electoral Commission. Please, Chairperson Mrs. Mensa, with your team, there are people whose, we call them, they have the repository of knowledge to guide whatever you do. I don't think if you call Dr. Farijan or even some of us who have been involved in this process, we cannot offer some pieces of advice. We are not dictating to you, but we must do things to inspire confidence in the people. What is happening is very disgraceful and shameful, because the international community are following keenly what is happening. And they have been involved in the process from 92. So let's save the little integrity that we have in the process, because we are a beacon of hope in West Africa, or for that matter, in a developing country, as far as the democratic process is concerned. And what is happening is a great worry. And we cannot afford to let this country bend because of just one election out of 9. That's a concern that I have. And if the officials of the commission are listening, they must know that you are working for the public and not the other way around. Is it not even a shame that we are going to print ballot papers for just about 50 million voters over 9 different printing houses? It's a shame. State publishing corporation that had the capacity, we have decimated it to the point that we have to spread, which is a burden on the political parties, because throughout the period that you have to print this, they must send agents there every day from the beginning to the end. They must monitor the printing, how many ballot papers are printed in a day, whether there is no excess, take records. Why do we get ourselves so labored into the process of preparing for election, as if our democracy has not developed? These are the concerns that I have, and I believe the civil society organizations and other stakeholders must really get actively involved, not dictating to the commission, but trying to perhaps draw their attention to some of these shortcomings. I don't think it's good for our democracy. No.
So to you, this blunders, the EC should not be making these blunders.
It's avoidable. The blunders are avoidable. Why do you write? So you mean those working there? I believe the current commission members and the directors at least have spent over 3, 4, 5 years or been through one election cycle. Why do you invite party agents and your letter, short worded letter, indicating that you are going to begin a process? If you know it's about notification of polls, which we do, and we have to paste it at every polling station, it's a different simple matter. Why will somebody? And even then, there's a critical point. The notification of polls, which you have to paste at every polling station, will show the order for presidential and parliamentary. And for that matter, the correctness of pictures that were sent. There are petty things. You understand? And so and it is because they came and Mensa came with her team thinking they are going to reinvent the wheel. And unnecessary issues that needed not to be done. You understand? We broke down IPAC, etc. And I'm saying for one more time that it was Afarijan's Electoral Commission approach that anybody who was involved in the process is not about going to mine something that is an inalienable property of anybody, but this electoral process and the commission itself exists because of all of us. So IPAC, you could see the civil society organizations, the other international agencies outnumbering even political parties whenever we went to IPAC, because they all played a role. The current ballot boxes that we are using was provided by Danida. The current transparent boxes that we started using they were provided by Danida. USAID help. The very first time in '96 that we were giving computers and we were giving a disk with all the voter register for that matter. In the past, we had to go and pay. Was done by the USAID. So Afarijan's role was anybody involved in the process, come and sit at IPAC. You see, and that is how IEA, where Mensa was able, even not attending IPAC, even though they were extended invitation, managed to help in crafting the Transition Act. So this sort of, I can do it alone, I'm independent. If you are independent, do you have a law to collect revenue to finance your operations? Is it not government of the day that provides you with a subvention? So they must be told. A commission doesn't belong to any of them. And more so when some of them don't have that moral credibility, because they are known partisan party people. So I think enough is enough, and we must really reassert ourselves to make sure, and I'm appealing to the other minority parties, including my CPP, be objective and don't be seen to be towing the line of NDC, NPP. If NDC is pursuing a path that is correct, support them. In the same way, if MPP is doing what is correct, support them. But you must be seen to be presenting an independent view, not to be seen to be just following anybody, because you let people come up with the inference that you have collected something, which might not be correct.
Prof.
So I hope they say a word to the wise is enough, and then they let us have confidence, because at the end of the day, it's the will of the people that will prevail, no matter what. The will of the people will prevail on the 7th.
Just a side note. You worked in the University of Ghana for so long. In fact, one of the things you teach has to do with, I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, is it land economy?
No, land use.
Land use. Okay, so that's great. So two things. You were a member of organized labor. You're somebody who is concerned about what we do to the land available to us. So having said that, just a small side note, what do you make of organized labor's position and the position of UTAG, which you specifically belong to during your period at the University of Ghana, on this matter of Galamsey?
Look, I was totally shocked when the Land and Mineral Resources Minister, he said he drinks Ghana Water Company water, so he doesn't think Galamsey exists. You know, one thing I've seen is the deterioration in the caliber and quality of people we appoint to the position, if you even judge from 1992. And that a minister of state will talk this way, and you ask, does he drive around? You know, one major issue we don't realize, and maybe I'm speaking from the point of view that, the background that you posited a short while ago, that we don't have a land use planning policy. Already, you know, there is a legislation that says that a river like Volta, and we are lucky we have a nearly spark, send your place at Sogakope, you see, for nothing at all, you can see crystal clear water flowing into the sea. It is because throughout the drainage path channel of the Volta, you don't have that mineral deposit like we have. But if you knew the PRA, those of us who are a bit older, and you knew the PRA in the 70s, and you see the PRA now, and you see a brim, and you see the other major rivers, you'll be amazed. We don't have proper land use planning. There's a legislation that says that big rivers like PRA, Volta, 100 meters. So you're talking about the stretch of a goalpost to another goalpost. You don't even farm. You don't farm, not to even farming where you use cutlass and hoe. You don't farm. You don't use cutlass and hoe because of the exposure of the surface. You remove grass or you remove the vegetative cover, so there will be runoff that carried silt or sediments into the water. That is there. Then small rivers or streams like Odo, 30 meters. It's in the statute books. And then more so because of the economic problems we've been through the last 30-40 years, virtually urbanization has taken over. And so we are building everywhere on waterways, etc. So urbanization itself is a threat. So now if I tell you on authority that Accra, where we sit here, has one of the best agricultural lands, you don't believe it. And that's why even in colonial times, they didn't build everywhere.